Well, welcome folks, my part 3 VFW here in Marcellus, Michigan. I'll be right back. Here's their post office, right next to an old, like a little granary or a tank. That is a tank. Right along the railroad. This way to Detroit. This way to Chicago. Old house here, boarded up. Another old timer. All right, I shall be right back. Here we go, folks. How do you like this? You know, every VFW post special, every single one. I've never seen one like this yet. This is a little outpost. Welcome to Camp Marcellus. Food, drinks, fire support available. Climb at your own risk under adult supervision. I'm not going to do it, but I can mount one of these. I could show you how. But just so that nobody tries and falls and cracks their coconut, I'm not going to show you how. I can show you how that driver gets right up in there. It's 105 millimeter. It's M250 caliber. Generally they used an M-85 over in Germany. That one's been replaced. Or they're trying to make it look like an 85. I think they do. I think they've done the job on that. Yep. It's known as an Israeli cupola. They're the ones that invented that. And then we took the design, went from there. These little blisters here, those are laser rangefinders. So is this little device here next to the barrel. This is what you cut through the jungle with. And I mean not the jungle, but through the bush, the trees in West Germany. Yep. Sometimes you're rolling down the road. We had self-propelled howitzers, M109s. You throw a track pad. Those things would come flying out the back and smash the windshield of anything behind it. It could really hurt, so you had to give distance. As you were going down the road, you made sure before you took off that these were tightened. You brought extra ones with you, and you can see right there, there's large bolts right here, one on each side. And you just bolt the new track pad on. You better bring extra nuts and bolts with you too. Okay, that's what that's all about. Pretty darn cool. "100% American made." Now on my post one evening, it was in the winter. There was a light coat of snow on the ground. This is in West Germany. The alert siren went off. And there were 3 Bader Meinhof had actually cut through the fence and cut through the inner fence into our 2 tank battalions' track bark. They had the rear engine deck, you see right here, had it wide open. There was a padlock on there, and they had the wide open. And hold on one second. I just talked to one of the post commanders here. They don't open up for several hours yet, but I'll come back here with my grandson. But I was telling you about this. These terrorists had this engine deck open. Okay, they cut the padlock off. This device that you see here that's locked down over, it's probably got a certain yeah, that's the travel lock. When you're really running with a tank, you run with a barrel to the rear. Makes the whole system shorter. Okay, that locks the barrel down, doesn't bounce around. Okay, also gives the driver more room. But anyways, these were not travel locked. They're in ready to rock condition, fully ammo load up. They're fully loaded up with ammo there on our post. The tankers just had to come out, jump in, and we'd go up to the line if the Russians were coming. Anyways, these Bader Meinhof had the deck open. They had a big pair of cable cutters. And there was one guy up here on the top of the deck cutting cables down inside and lines and everything. Two others were standing at the rear right here looking around, and a roving guard caught them. And the Bader Meinhof were caught. They also backtracked their footprints through the snow to the cut in the fence and down the little hill to a Mercedes with a dude driving it. Was waiting for these three individuals, and he was also caught on the spot. Not a shot fired. Not a shot fired. And that all happened about 4.5 months before I got over there. Yep. And the M-60s were brand new. They had just got them. They're brand new paint jobs on them. They hadn't had them for more than a month when that incident happened. Right back. I've stood down below these this close. Here's a torpedo. Still on patrol. March 16 torpedo. United States Navy from 1943 to 75. Weighs 4,000 pounds. 21 inches in diameter. 11,000 yard range. Has a hydrogen peroxide propellant and a turbine engine. U.S. Navy submariners paid with their lives in the success of World War II. Total tonnage of 374 officers, 3,131 men are on board these, I believe it's 52 U.S. submarines still on patrol. There's their names of the subs. There's the Wahoo. It's really cool. They're in alphabetical order. Wow. All right. Now here's a bow of a World War II destroyer with a twin L-60 40 millimeter. It's a Bofors. L-70s came a little later. The barrels were just 10 more calibers long. Right back. Here's a mine. You can see how have this on the slope of the hill. Looks like the bow is plowing right through the waves. And the mine right here. Oh, it's not good. That 40 would take care of it. He just can't depress any much lower than where he is right there. He couldn't hit it. If it was out further, he could have got it. Very interesting. We're right here at the top of the hill, juncture of a M60, 8 miles. No, it isn't. It's right there. Well, here we are. And here's the mount. Well, it has some dummy ammo loaded. Somebody made up, welded in there. Here's the manufacturer's plate. 40 millimeter machine gun mechanism, Mark II, Model 1. Inspector, there's his number, the serial number, 3-808. This is manufactured in Detroit, Michigan by the Chrysler Corporation. How do you like that? Pretty bad ass. Hey, Ha! This is Mopar. Holy crap, Mopar rules. Oh, there we go. No disrespect. Absolutely positively, this is a Chrysler product. You know? Now, the gunners, one would be in charge of turning a handle that's not here that would slew them out left and right. The other one would turn handles that would elevate the barrels. Okay, you can see he has the handle right here, it's still attached. Okay, when this gunner, he's the gunner, see those foot pedals? Okay, they're hooked up to a mechanism. When he pushes those toes forward, the gun fires. And she'll go boom, 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 just knock them off. You see how far that tree line is over there? Double that range. Go up in the sky, about halfway to those clouds, and that'd be the range of these babies. They had them all over aircraft carriers. Soldiers or sailors would have to stand back here. They would be handed ammunition. There would be the loader's platform on either side, and they'd hand the ammunition up and jam those big clips, 4 rounds into the loading gates, and they'd automatically lock and load as the weapon was fired. The empties would shuck out the bottom, the rear, hit these little troughs, deflect downwards, okay, and out the front of the weapon. As the weapon's firing, all this hot brass spewing out the front, you can see the downward deflectors, so that they don't fly straight out and hit people that may be up here. They fly straight down and hit the deck and roll all over the place. Yep, that's what that's all about. A little bit of Mopar. Those are flash hiders on the ends. Try to keep the muzzle flash down. The enemy, from the enemy coming in, be harder to see on the ship. And of course, these springs are exactly what you may think. They're recoil springs. And then some of the electrical parts, the electrical firing mechanisms. And they could switch over to electric, I believe, on this one, and go either full electric or crank the handles manually. There you go. I've seen a 20 millimeter Oerlikon too, but I don't know if they have one here. If they do, we'll talk about those. A lot of these people didn't make it. An awful lot of them. You have to remember them. Talk to some of them that did, that will talk about it. Raise the hair on the back of your neck. This Huey on display is here in memory of Ralph John Klein. He was born January 24th, 1948, and he was killed June 19th, 1969. He was a warrant officer. Warrant officer grades are 1 through 4. They call them Mr. instead of Sir, by the way. He would have been Mr. Klein. U.S. Army, Company Charlie, the 229th Aviation Battalion, attack helicopters. Huey pilot killed in action at Phuoc Long Province, Republic of Vietnam. This area here is to remember those killed in action in the Korean War. And you can see the little ridge line here. And there's bunkers with machine gun barrels pointing out of those little bunkers down at the troops that are coming down through the little valley here. This is the Walk of Fame. In the state of Michigan, 48 men are still missing from Vietnam. Marcellus veterans missing in World War II. And here are those troops from the Korean War about to come under the gaze of that little position there. Here's the Korean War. Over in there. Of course, World War II. This is the Iwo Jima Memorial. Little island near Iwo Jima was Chichijima. That's where Bush 41, President Bush, had to bail out of his torpedo bomber, his Grumman bomber. Two of the other crew members did not make it out. And Lieutenant Bush parachuted to the ocean and floated there. Not long, it was picked up by a rescue submarine. It was in the area. There's video of that, just as clear as a bell. And he went on to be the 41st President of the United States during the operation of Iwo Jima. Real cool little knot board here. See the large, we'll call it the rope that's making the border. Once a ship's rope becomes a certain diameter, it is then known as cable or line. Okay? That's what that is. It's not a big rope, it's a line. And that's cable size, so well, let's not get too technical. Here's some monkey fists. Yep. It's the naval area. And that does appear to be a real anchor. Afghanistan and Iraq. Now this right here, unless they have a little smart card on it out here, the only thing I can tell you, seen pictures of these in the weapons recognition book that we had to almost memorize overseas. These were an anti-tank gun. And you see, it's a very powerful weapon. I believe that's probably about a 90 millimeter. We'll have to take a look. But these would roll out rather quickly and take them on closer ranges, maybe a couple thousand meters. They could fire indirectly, like a howitzer as well. But these are mainly to get around quickly and kind of hit them on their sides. The old Civil War cavalry tactic. See if we can find a smart card here. Well, you can see you have a gunner. You have a loader that would stand back here. There's where the ammunition would be kept. These would be watertight compartments. Turn that handle and pop it open. There'd be a live round in there. Right in the breech it'd go. There's the firing handle right there. It's been welded onto the little holder. You can see the grip goes down onto this connection. Okay, that actually opens the breech. You pull that down, the breech goes. Boom. This whole breech block drops. There's the serial number on the block. Okay, the firing mechanism here in the center is missing, and they have to do that. This could never be fired again. It can't be opened, and if it could, it's been welded. Okay. Pretty cool, huh? Guy drives along. This is the driver. Over here's the gunner. See the little military switches over here on his main control panel. It's like what we had, just like right here. Yep. It wasn't broke, they didn't fix it. We had them in 79 and 80 in our howitzers. These pistons right here you see on top, they are hydraulic, and they act as large springs or the shock absorbers to absorb the recoil of this mechanism when it fires, because I'm going to guarantee you this breech will go back as far as the shock. So she's going to, the shock absorber is what I mean by the shock. It'll drive this back, I'm going to say, almost a good 8.5 inches. As long as you're standing right here and to the side, you're good. You won't want to stand, it's just normal with a howitzer or anything. You stand to the sides. Battery boxes, jockey box. See if it's got IRs, you just can't. Yeah, infrared headlights. So this is going to be Korean War vintage. This is post-World War II. Very much post-World War II. Front engine. Yeah, it appears to be a 90. You can still see the rifling inside the muzzle brake. But from there back, it's welded shut. Yeah. This is Korean War, and then getting just into Vietnam. I would imagine there may have been a National Guard unit that still had something like this, and they said bring them over there, maybe give them to the South Vietnamese. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what this is, and I just don't know its designation. Here on the placard board, there was nothing there. It's gone. That's okay. I think we have the gist. And if you were to look this up, leave a comment below. Tell me how close to being right I was. See if that might be, I might have been close enough for government work. So they say. Well, look at a couple big shells up here. Certainly didn't fit in here. Now, I don't know a VFW that doesn't serve chow, and also has a bar associated with the facility. Well, this one does too. By the look of the rooftop units over there, over the kitchen, they have a nice one. Here's a little picnic area back here. Come back here and hang out with your veteran brothers and sisters and their spouses. All the bricks that are laid under the honorary walk all the way around have a veteran's name. Some of them the veterans unit, some in loving memory of their wives or parents. all the way around. And they mean it. What you got there in that in your sock there, boy? Now, that's just a half pint of slow gin. May I have that, please? No, you may enter. What do you have underneath your coat? Oh, nothing, sir. Just a 2,000-pound, 16-inch shell from one of the battleships, Iowa class. The New Jersey, the Missouri, where the surrender was signed in Tokyo Bay by the Japanese, now on display at Pearl Harbor. These are the shells those big guns fired. There's a laser cutout of one of the Iowa class battleships right there. 3 guns in the rear, 6 in the front. Right? Absolutely right. Look at the shell has its manufacturing and serial number still on the rotating band. These were practice shells. This rotating band is made of bronze, very thick, more than an inch thick, set on there. And that was what would receive the lands and grooves from the barrel, giving the big bullet the spiro action, just like the lands and grooves in your 30-06 or your 22 little squirrel rifle. Same thing, but on a much larger scale. And as you can see, maximum range, 25 miles. And they proved that off Vietnam. They were hitting targets that were 18 and nearly 20 miles inland, supporting special forces operations. Out of nowhere, a big old Iowa class comes steaming up kind of close to shore. And you read the story about it, there was very little light allowed. And they had their target coordinates, and they let fly. And then they got the report back that, just paraphrasing, thank you very much, job well done. There were some helicopters and some A4 Sandys that went in and picked these people out. But under the cover fire of at nighttime of 16-inch shells like these, except high explosive ones, really something. All right, there you go. Very, very interesting place. I'm glad that my friend told me about it. Well, you can see the blades on the chopper look like they want to take off a little bit there. We'll just talk about something there before we leave. It's a good place to leave. On the top of that helicopter's mast, where the blade is connected, very, very top, there's a nut up there. It's good. It's held on pretty darn good. Special wrench to tighten it down. A couple other little small things up there with it, but that's the main piece. If that ever was not to have been tightened down correctly and you're flying along, that main rotor would pop right off that helicopter, and the result would not be very good. And so because of that, the crew chiefs on these helicopters, one of the things they checked and rechecked, that they called it the Jesus nut, was properly tightened. I know a crew chief from one of these. He's still alive. He lives in the Southwest. He and his wife. And he said that if you didn't fly the helicopter for a day or so and you had different changes in weather, it could begin to loosen that. And a little bit of vibration and a little bit of range, it could loosen it a little bit more. And he said if you didn't check that when you got on the ground, like you should, next time, he said, you would meet your maker. It was that imperative. And you can hold that nut in the palm of your hand. I've seen one for sale at a relic show, a military relic show, and it was from a UH-1. It was a Huey UH-1 Jesus nut. They wanted $175 for it about 25 years ago. Yeah. All right. Thanks again for coming here today with me. He said that the museum inside was really something to see. He said they had everything from every era, but it's very secure. It's all bolted down and under high security in there. And you actually have to go through a whole nother security area to get to it, he said. So, well, I said, that's good. It's the way it should be. We'll come in there another day with my grandson and check it out. Thanks again for watching. If you like this video, appreciate it if you would subscribe. Hit that notification button. And I have a few more coming at you yet. I sure hope so. My new subscribers and viewers, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.